Fit, active, healthy, happy, enjoying the prime of your life. Looking out for your health and wellness, this is Health Talk with Fred Lowry from Lowry Drug in Statesville. Visit Fred at his store, conveniently located on Hartness Road in Statesville.
Good afternoon. This episode of Health Talk is pre-recorded for October the 31st, 2025. This is Fred Lowry, pharmacist and doctor of natural medicine, exploring the facets of your health and keeping you up to date and informed. This program is intended to share knowledge and information based on my research and experience. It is not intended to offer individual advice, nor does it replace a one-on-one relationship with a qualified healthcare professional. Your daily choices are yours and have more to do with your health than anyone in the healthcare field. My hopes are that this show will empower you with knowledge to take a more proactive approach to your health. Some of my sources include, but are not limited to, various news feeds such as Epic Times, Mercola, Children's Health Defense, PubMed, and various Substack posts. I've got a good show for you today that's very interesting. Some of the things I've found about melatonin that amaze me and actually makes me just a little bit excited because of the possibilities for helping people with problems that we don't really have a lot of great answers for. But first, I want to talk about shoulder pain. So a couple of weeks ago, I talked to a friend of mine that was having some shoulder pain, and he ran into someone that told him about this doctor that recommends an exercise, and what you do is you hang from a bar with your palms facing out. You have to do that, do this gradually. Some people are not able to do that, but he says it's supposed to help shoulder pain, and he described it. He said it was quite painful. This gentleman is in his early 70s. He said he used to be able to hang and do pull-ups, and well, not anymore. So he had a lot of shoulder pain problems, and so he started doing this, and he was kind of impressed as to how painful it was. And which doesn't sound like a good thing, but also his muscles got sore. But over a period of time, he improved, and he could tell a difference in his shoulder. So I thought I would look into that, and I actually tried it myself. I dug out an old chin-up bar and hung that up, and I was able to hang, but he's right. It pulls a lot of muscles that you're not accustomed to because we don't do that anymore, and so gravity takes its toll. The doctor that promoted this, Dr. John Kirsch, an orthopedic surgeon, authored a book called Shoulder Pain, The Solution and Prevention. So for those of you with shoulder pain, I think it'd be a good idea to look into this. It's not for everybody, but he proposes that hanging from this bar, he calls it the brachial dead hang. So the brachial nerve is on the shoulder, and that's part of what happens with impingement or the compression of that shoulder joint in pain. And he says it alleviates shoulder pain by reshaping this space that's in there. This pinch nodus impingement syndrome basically is from tightness or atrophy and problems with your ligaments and poor posture. The theory is that hanging allows the shoulder to open up. So if you go to his website, you'll see videos of that space opening up and relieving the pressure there. So this practice actually supposed to reshape that bone It's a practice believed to work through a principle called Wolff's Law, which states that a bone or soft tissue can be remodeled when exposed to other mechanical type stresses. So you start out with your palms facing forward in short intervals, 10 to 30 seconds, followed by a 60-second rest, and you're gradually trying to build up to 10 to 15 minutes. Those do experience some pain. And initially, you don't have to put your full weight on there. You can just put partial weight with your feet on the ground and gradually increase that pressure. So I think it's good for people that maybe have issues with not being able, with basic shoulder pain, rotator cuff issues. It says it's not suitable for people with unstable shoulders, severe osteoporosis, or people that cannot lift their arms to a horizontal position due to weakness or pain. So something to keep in mind, something to look at. It's a inexpensive way to maybe resolve some shoulder pain. You know, gravity is free. So I started looking into melatonin and kind of got caught up in this. You know, melatonin is a hormone associated with sleep. It's produced in the brain in the pineal gland, and it is directly tied to circadian rhythm, the light of the sun, and daytime, nighttime. So it's primarily thought about in that realm, and when dosed, it's dosed in very small doses, usually 1 to 3 milligrams. It can be used for jet lag or something called delayed sleep-wake phase disorder, sometimes in children. And it can also be used, interestingly enough, for anxiety before and after surgery. So chemically, melatonin is made from serotonin. You're familiar with that. Serotonin being a neurotransmitter, and melatonin is actually considered a hormone. So, but melatonin is not just produced there, it's actually produced in every cell of the body. You know, and as I explored this, I became impressed with how limited we are about how we view things in different situations and what we learn. Obviously, melatonin for sleep. But what I'm going to show you is that it can protect against ionized radiation. It can protect your red blood cells, your white blood cells. It's involved in immune dysfunction. It can actually heal damaged nerves, and it's been said to be an antiviral and antibacterial. So actually, and in this role, we just really know nothing about some of this stuff, because melatonin is actually synthesized in the mitochondria, which we know is the energy-producing organelles of the cells. A lot more on this coming up. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Health Talk. We are exploring the world of melatonin, and so the way this got started was related to a study I ran across. Someone was talking about how melatonin protects from ionized radiation, which is really interesting. And once you go down these little rabbit holes, you just find all kinds of stuff. So with with the melatonin also produced in mitochondria, it's basically made in all kinds of different cells of the body. Now, when we talk about ionized radiation, there's natural forms of that and unnatural forms, or artificial forms. So, natural sources may include cosmic rays from space, radioactive elements in the Earth's crust, such as uranium, radium, thorium, and radon gas. Radon gas or exposure is a natural background source of radiation. Of course, artificial sources of radiation include X-rays, CT scans, radiation therapy from cancer treatments, which is probably the largest single source of human exposure to artificial radiation. Interestingly enough, consumer products such as a smoke detector contains americium-241. I hadn't heard of that one. And of course, the detonation of either nuclear weapons or accidents at nuclear facilities. So the potential for this hormone is really pretty interesting. And so what was done was in laboratory animals, they examined the blood of the animals. They gave them melatonin. They exposed them to radiation, some with and without. And what they noticed was the red blood cells and the white blood cells were not damaged when given high doses of melatonin, as opposed to the ones that weren't. So melatonin apparently demonstrates a lot of potential for preventing damage from ionized radiation. And this just opens up a door for all kinds of things. So it's a free radical scavenger, particularly against highly toxic, what is known as a hydroxyl radical, which is one of the mechanisms for radiation treatment of cancers and the destruction of that the cancer tumor. So it functions as an antioxidant, and it actually promotes the enzymes that make all these antioxidants that we know about. There's one called superoxide dismutase, glutathione peroxidase. A lot of the things that we try to make in our body are to promote in terms of glutathione production in the liver, which we use NAC, N-acetylcysteine, and glycine to help promote that. But it basically increases the protective antioxidants in all kinds of tissues, liver, brain, I would say probably body-wide. So it protects against a wide range of radiation-induced damage in the liver. It protects the DNA and the RNA and the glutathione levels in the brain. It significantly decreases the DNA strand breaks following irradiation. Protects the salivary glands from acute damage from head and neck radiation. So it's just a very interesting thing. So apparently it has a dual role. It protects the tissues while also apparently and reportedly enhancing the effectiveness of radiation therapy. This is, I just think, almost groundbreaking, because one of the concerns, of course, in even in the creation of cancer, you go to the dentist, you get an X-ray. You could take a melatonin capsule just before and after to help protect yourself if you're going to have a CT scan. any other X-rays. Ladies, if you're going to have them go get a mammography done, you know, a couple treatment with this a couple hours before. And that was one of the studies that basically said taking 300 milligrams 2 hours before seems to be well tolerated, and that was the dosage range that they were using. It sounds extreme, and I'll tell you, when I first heard that, I'm not one that really goes for large doses, but I think our perception and our usage of melatonin in the past for sleep really is what's impacted that, because they've dosed just tremendous doses of melatonin, as high as maybe 100 milligrams per kilogram. Now, a kilogram, there's 2.2 pounds in a kilo. So that gives you the idea of what kind of tremendous doses this is, or that is tolerated. There's something called a LD50, which is the lethal dose that happens at 50% of the population. They've not found that apparently for this. So, when you think about it, and I'm not sure what the cancer radiation community is going to do with this, because they generally don't want you to take antioxidants while you're doing radiation therapy. But I think it has a great potential to be helpful in that situation. So now here's another thing that really kind of blew my mind, and apparently you can use melatonin and DMSO to heal damaged nerves. Melatonin, and it could be taken orally, obviously, as well. Melatonin shows significant potential in healing and the regeneration of damaged nerves, particularly in peripheral nerve energies. The treatment can be effectively used to promote nerve regeneration and improve the function of damaged nerves. It helps, you can think about going back to that shoulder thing, the brachial plexus injury or compression of the shoulder. That's still a mechanical thing, but it may be helpful. Melatonin has been shown to increase the number of axons, that's connections in nerve tissue, pardon, and enhance the thickness of the myelin sheath, which is critical for nerve repair. So a lot of the damage related to nerves has to do with the myelin sheath. Think about that as a coating that protects that nerve. Mercury can destroy the myelin sheath. I think aluminum does have some impact on that as well. But we thought about things for the myelin sheath like alpha lipoic acid and B complex. B vitamins are important for that. But this is potentially another tool for nerve repair. So it's said to preserve the structural integrity of this myelin sheath. A lot of different mechanisms here. It's a potent antioxidant, reduces oxidative stress and free radical damage, which are contributors to nerve damage. So, and I do want you to think about when you have a mechanical pinch in the nerve, or versus other non-related mechanical things. And mechanicals are basically pinches relating to bone and those pressures. So when you look at this, apparently melatonin upregulates a process that actually helps clear damaged mitochondria of issues, and thereby promoting peripheral nerve repair. there's something called Schwann cells that are responsible for forming this myelin sheath. So melatonin reduces scar formation, inhibits collagen production around the injury that can impede nerve regeneration. Demonstrates a neuroprotective effect, reducing the nerve death from injury. So when you think about that, we think about peripheral neuropathy. How many people are impacted by that? It's just kind of an amazing concept for a medication or a hormone or a natural substance that we really give little thought to. Stay tuned for more. We're going to talk about its use in viruses and other illnesses. More health talk to come.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to understand.
Welcome back to Health Talk.
I have done
This is
all
Fred Lowry,
that I
pharmacist and doctor of natural medicine of Lowry Drug in Statesville. Lowry Drug on Hartness Road was established in 1959. We're a traditional family pharmacy with a state-of-the-art compounding laboratory. We offer a full line of medical equipment, supplies, CPAP, scooters, lift chairs, and oxygen. And we have a full line of supplements, nutritionals, herbs, essential oils, homeopathics, and more. Come see us. We're talking about all things melatonin. So when we're talking about nerve damage and, there's a lot of things that have caused that. But it does bring to mind the messenger RNA shots that we had. Those had that in COVID. People that got COVID, and as with other viruses, in some cases, had issues with nerve-related things, which goes into sense of smell, sense of taste, a lot of other things. When we think about all the potential of damaging nerves, like things like shingles, and we may have a use for this melatonin and topical application in that area. But we also saw during the COVID time some doctors treating some of those symptoms with melatonin. And that was a time when we also saw uses of ivermectin, the antiparasitic. So, a lot of strange stuff here where we're treating viruses with ivermectin, which when you start looking into it, there's a tremendous amount of literature, scientific papers, about the antiviral effects of ivermectin. We've also seen a lot of study and promise with that and other antiparasitics in cancer. There's plenty of information about that. But when we look into look at melatonin, when we look at these protocols, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, but there are mechanisms and thought processes behind all of these suggested therapies. As it turns out, melatonin is has significant antiviral potential through many pathways. It apparently doesn't kill viruses, but it exerts indirect antiviral effects by modulating the immune system, reducing inflammation, and acting as a potent antioxidant. And that was part of the issue, too, with with COVID or other viral infections is this overwhelming inflammation that people get. So melatonin actually can reduce viral replication, and it's been used in various viruses, including RSV, the respiratory syncytial virus, other SARS-CoV-2. It apparently helps suppress the cytokine storms, reducing oxidative stress. It also, there's studies out there that it has broad spectrum antiviral activity, and of course there's not of course, but there's not been really any really large studies, but it does have some biological, if you will, impact and logic. So melatonin, interestingly enough, also has a bacteriostatic activity, meaning that it inhibits bacterial growth rather than actually killing them outright. This is just incredible. It really is. It's effective against what's known as gram-positive, gram-negative bacteria, which is a classification of different types of bacteria: Staphylococcus, E. coli, Klebsiella pneumonium, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It's helpful in patients that are septic, probably due to its antioxidant type impact. So it protects mitochondrial function. So this is really a multifaceted hormone that I think is just really amazing. Lastly on that, this was a study I ran across called the melatonin immunomodulatory actions in radiotherapy. It's basically a scientific paper that talks about using it in radiation therapy for cancer. So a lot of information out there, and I think tremendous potential there. We have talked about lithium before, but I want to revisit the use of lithium, particularly for brain and memory type function. So we all probably have known people in our family or friends that have had dementia and Alzheimer's disease, and terrible disease that I don't really need to go into the details of that, but there's a lot of studies about this trace mineral lithium, which has pretty much been overlooked outside of psychiatric medicine for bipolar disorder. So scientists are basically have uncovered this nutritional level of lithium could influence brain resilience and the very biology of cognitive decline. So research points to a shift in how we think about preventive and protection related to Alzheimer's. So this is one of those products that probably worth looking into if you feel like you have mild cognitive impairment, some kind of memory issues. And I run into this all the time. I mean, who doesn't have some level of that? But more on the mechanism here. But apparently in the research, it shows that lithium loss, it drives, in the brain, drives Alzheimer's decline. Research published in Nature analyzed brain tissue from people with mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's disease and measured the different metals in the brain. They discovered that lithium stood out from all the other metals and was a really key player in decision making, memory, and personality. It wasn't a random occurrence. lithium was actually being drawn into the amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's, the sticky clumps of protein that accumulates in the brain, making it generally unavailable for brain functions. So, when in animal experience, when they removed lithium from the diet, this process was sped up. Mice developed more amyloid plaques and higher brain inflammation. Memory also declined. So this is really key. Researchers noted that lithium deficiency caused the connection that allows the brain cells to talk to each other to weaken. The myelin, the protective sheath around the nerves, became thinner and impaired communication between the nerves. We can go back to melatonin on that. So there were underlying forgetfulness, confusion, personality shifts when lithium was low, and when it was restored, it was reversible. More on this. Stay tuned for more health talk.
Doctor, my eyes, tell me what is wrong.
Welcome back to Health Talk. This is Fred Lowry, pharmacist and doctor of natural medicine, talking about the trace element, lithium, and brain function. So in these papers, the main biological switch related to this, they think they have identified. There's an enzyme that's a central player, and apparently when lithium levels fall, the enzyme goes into overdrive, which means the enzyme is like a switch that turns on the buildup of these tau proteins and the inflammation. So overactivation of the enzyme actually speeds up Alzheimer's pathology. So restoring lithium levels in the body, this enzyme drops and reduces this protein buildup in the brain and the brain inflammation. The primary product for this is lithium orotate. Now, the lithium associated with psychology is lithium carbonate, but the lithium orotate offers greater protection. And as an example, the most common dose for this is 5 milligrams. You might see using the psychology world, the dose is closer to 300 or maybe even higher. But the lithium is more effective in restoring the lithium balance compared with lithium carbonate. It also bypasses the problem of being trapped in these plaques, and basically is delivering usable lithium to the brain. So the other thing that this does have an impact on is relative to mood. Study published in Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews examined low-dose lithium far below the psychiatric level treatment related to brain health and emotional stability. Both clinical trials and observation viewed how just trace lithium interacts with human cognition and improves mood. So basically low-dose lithium is really probably a great intervention for people facing early mental problems such as mild cognitive improvement. Such a simple thing. So in taking this, not only did they see memory performance improve, but they also saw mood stabilization. So individuals with depression or mood disorders experience greater emotional steadiness. Evidence points to specific improvements in cognition. The studies found that people that received low doses of lithium scored better on cognitive tests. and so you don't really need those high doses to achieve that. Benefits were seen without harmful effects. Regular lithium therapy in high doses can create a strain on the kidneys and the thyroid. But we're talking about nutrient level lithium, and so that's completely a different thing. We think about it as a drug, but it's really a trace element. So another paper published in the British Journal of Psychiatry evaluated whether long-term lithium treatment could delay or slow the transition from memory loss with mild cognitive function and not yet full dementia. So patients did show improvement in test scores and brain markers. The trial enrolled adults that were diagnosed with this mild cognitive impairment function, and randomly assigned them to receive low doses of lithium or the placebo for 12 months. Those who received the lithium demonstrated better cognitive testing, memory, attention, mental flexibility. Additionally, apparently their spinal fluid showed lower levels of the proteins that are associated with the buildup of Alzheimer's disease. So the lithium led to meaningful improvements in daily function, better concentration, attentiveness, and the ability to process information compared with those on placebo. For individuals living with early memory problems, it basically can translate into perhaps longer independence. So they also showed that the disease progression was slower. So I think all this is encouraging because unlike Alzheimer's drugs, which basically are inhibitory, this kind of addresses the underlying cause. So I think it's a good idea to think about this as an intervention. Keep in mind you need all kinds of trace minerals, and your diet is pretty much devoid of that. One place that we get trace minerals is root vegetables. And of course we think about carrots related to that, but plants with long tap roots can reach deeper into the soil where the minerals are more available. So if you deal with ultra-processed foods, you're not getting any of those minerals at all. Two other minerals that are important related to this are included magnesium and zinc. So, I think this is definitely something to look into. I believe I'm going to start taking that on occasion, just as an experiment. But certainly, if you're in the aging group and your brain's not working like you want it to, I think it's worth a look. So one of the other things that I think about, and I run across this a lot, is related to iron in the body in terms of minerals. So there's a lot of evidence that says that high iron in the brain promotes Alzheimer's and starts damaging the brain. And I'm very concerned about the use of iron over the counter. If you have anemia and you have low iron, or your doctor might prescribe iron for you. But why would you have low iron? So women with heavy cycles could have blood loss. If you have an accident, but if you're on a regular diet and you're able to digest your food properly, and you're getting, particularly if you're getting beef or other vegetables that contain iron, why would your iron be low, and why, when you take iron for a long period of time, does it not increase? You know, your values don't always increase. Some do. But the point of this is iron can be toxic in many ways. And what I think happens, and I don't have any, this is just Fred's thoughts about this, is the iron is there, but it's being bound up in other places. One strategy for that is using homeopathic iron. Ferrum phosphoricum may allow your body to utilize better the iron that you have. You know, if you have iron that's high and you have end up with a high percent saturation, that's a lab value. Some people have used methylene blue to help lower that percent of elevated iron. But if you're taking iron all the time, there's a problem with that, particularly if you don't have any blood loss anywhere, or any reason that the iron shouldn't be there. It just means it's tied up other places. There is evidence to suggest that some of the components of one of the shots binds up iron with graphite, and so that's a possibility as well. You know, I think a good strategy in some cases would be to use zeolite as a scavenger for some of these positively charged excess components in the body from a toxicity standpoint. But it's worth thinking about, particularly if you're taking a lot of iron. So basically, excess iron speeds up Alzheimer's disease, and it's certainly not healthy. Things that can also be done is using the glycine and NAC component to improve glutathione, which is used as a detox mechanism of the body. So basically, the other thing to think about too is, you know, do you have bruising? So people on blood thinners, that could be an issue. You know, there's a lot of pieces to this, but we are running out of time. Thank you for tuning in to Health Talk. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe and enjoy this beautiful fall that we're having.